Town of Wheaton Board meeting, Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. The affidavit of notice of meeting for Wisconsin statutes 19.84 was posted, correct?
Yes.
I'll call the meeting to order. A pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for our military. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Laura Hayden.
Yep.
Bud Beckwith.
Here.
Wayne Miller.
Here.
Alice Drosky.
Here.
Ken Buck.
Here.
Mark Blaskowski.
Here.
I'd like a motion of approval of tonight's agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Clerk's report, previous minutes from September 5th, 2019, public hearing, September 10th, 2019, board meeting, and September 16th, 2019, board meeting. The check register presented for approval. When you all have a chance to look over September 5th, September 10th, and September 16th, someone make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve all three as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, limit 5 minutes maximum per speaker. Each speaker has to produce and provide their full name and address for the record. And each speaker is allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to speak on a non-agenda item or an agenda item when it is discussed. Any public comments? Okay, sir, if you'd like to come up here and state your name, address, and tell us your comments, please.
My name is Brad Schmitnick. I work for West Wisconsin Telecom. The address of my office is 5808 Old Mill Plaza, Eau Claire.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Sure can. SCHMIDTKNECHT.
Good.
Oh, even better.
That's good, man, isn't it? Boy, I guess so. I was waiting for him to stop.
There you go. All right. So, I'm here tonight. Our company, hopefully most of you are aware what we do. We provide broadband and phone service to the area here. A good majority of Wheaton and parts toward in Dunn County and others. But I'll just kind of get to the point here since it's short. If you guys are familiar with the broadband grants that the state is offering at all, what we would like to do is propose a project in the Wheaton area that is off of T on County N that will serve 24 subscribers. And part of that request is a public-private partnership, which would be with us 24/7. We, as you go by 24/7 for these projects with the township. Part of what happens with the process is the state, we apply based on the project. The state will score our project on a set of criteria, which I have lots of information I can give you guys after this point to review. And one of the criteria is the public-private partnership with the town of Wheaton or wherever we may have a project. So the reason I'm here tonight is because we are going to request a partnership with the town of Wheaton to do this project, and would just like to give you guys the details at some point and run through the project with you, or any other questions condensed version of what it really is, but based on a limited amount of time, we can leave it there for now, or get it on the agenda for the next meeting, or however you guys prefer to do it.
Do you have some information that you can leave with us
I do.
tonight?
I do.
Okay, Mark, do you think that should be something for the November agenda?
I'm sorry, I can't hear that in the crowd.
I think it should be.
Give you a recap, Mark. So,
Oh.
24/7 Telcom is looking at doing a broadband project over by County T and County N, and so they're looking for public, private type of
Partnership.
on a grant,
On a state grant.
on a state grant.
Okay, I talked to Brad earlier. That's fine. I think we need to meet on that. Probably should be, if we, this next meeting when we have the budget, the planning, maybe we can meet then. I mean,
So combine the budget meeting with this?
yeah, the budget planning meeting with this.
Okay.
Okay.
That way we can get it moving along.
What is the date for that?
We don't have, we'll set it tonight.
Sound all right?
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I'll leave you guys with that, some cards, some materials you can review, later on. Try to point out if there's anything else in here. So as part of all these projects, what we're trying to do is get broadband, internet to anywhere we can, that's, feasible. So, these broadband grants many times will match 50% of the cost of the project. This particular project we estimate to be about $116,000. It'll serve 24 people, 24 residences. So, being that area is underserved or possibly even unserved, we would expect a pretty good take rate and that type of thing. So, I'll just finish up here with just a couple of comments that everybody knows how important the internet is, and it's becoming more important for healthcare, kids doing their homework, and even as you guys found out with the tornado, I think just getting out to the rest of the world with emergency services and things like that. So, if you could let me know when the meeting will be, I'll leave some cards with this information. Go from there.
Okay.
Sound good?
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else for public comment?
Looking for additional public comments, Alice?
Any additional public
No, nothing. All right, let's move on to committees and reports.
I've got one.
You've got one?
Can you turn this up, Ken, a little bit?
I
Yeah,
got
I've
one.
got a public comment.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I just want to say publicly how well the DNR came in and helped us for this tornado, and Rob Goodland and Dennis Brown, all them guys really stepped up and helped us out a lot, so I really appreciate it. Just wanted to say that publicly.
Okay.
Thank you. Committees and reports, treasurer's report, review, board comments, and then file with the clerk. Any comments on this? Everybody's looked it over, we'll file it with the clerk.
Yep, file it with the clerk. We gotta vote on it, or,
Nope, we don't.
okay. Take care of that.
A fire board report, fire district discussion. Wayne?
Sure. The fire board met on September 17th at Halley, and they decided to reconsider the EMS and fire budget options, which they managed to take almost $40,000 off the budget in 1 month's time. And secondly, then they wanted to combine the budgets again, and I said, well, we voted on that last month. Well, it's different because it was a different budget. And they voted on it, and it was 3-2. Wheaton and Howard voted against it. And the reason we voted against it is because we can't make them balance their budget. It's stay within their budget. One of the examples I gave is when they floated $32,000 over into the EMS budget, and I don't see any place where they're making them responsible to paying it back or took it off of their budget for this year. And what I explained, that I felt that should went to pay off the equipment or reduce the budget for the fire end of it this year. Well, that didn't go very far. So that was the end of that. They got their way with that. Thirdly, when it came to Wheaton being with the fire district only for the fire services, they said, well, that, you know, you got the memorandum and it's for both services, and that got tabled again, which I figured it would, and I told them right out, I figured they gave me their answer the month before when they tabled it twice. So that took care of that. And then the next meeting is going to be October 22nd. They moved it out a week. It's going to be in Lafayette because there was some conflicts. And then they also asked, I did send out a letter once we got approval from Eau Claire for EMS coverage. That was the afternoon of the tornado, just before the tornado. And we sent out the notice that we were going to withdraw in 15 months. That was a registered letter. Well, after they got it, they decided they wanted to meet with Wheaton and discuss because I told them that by November's meeting, I'd like to know, you know, how they were planning on paying us, and they said, well, you know, they needed time to figure that out, and I said, well, give us an idea, because we got to figure a budget too, and one of the three ways. So they wanted to have a meeting with the Wheaton Town Board on, well, they wanted it before, but we got it set up for November 6th. And the time is yet to be announced in the location. Meet with them and discuss possibly what gear, type of equipment we want in that. And I talked to Dave Staver directly about that, and I told him that, he said, pick out the gear you think you want. And I said, well, we'll look at it. But I said, we'd like a list of all assets of the fire district. And that means computers, cameras, phones, whatever is out there. We want a whole list because we're entitled to part of it. And all we want is our share of it. So, like I said, we did give notice. Eau Claire picked us up, and Chippewa is going to be covering from up to County Trunk F coming out of Chippewa. That got approved also. So we're covered for the township on far as EMS, and they're more than happy to work with us. So that's about it for the fire board part of it. Any questions? Yeah, Dale.
You said the next meeting was October 22nd in Lafayette?
Yes, I know you guys got a meeting that night too, correct?
What time is yours?
Well, I think it's gonna be at 7. I know didn't they ask you guys to have yours at 6?
Yeah.
So I suppose they have yours and then ours right afterwards. So,
That's the fire commission. For
right. Dale's our representative for Wheaton on the fire commission part of it. Any other questions? All righty. I'd like to make one comment here too. I think what happened over the last 2 weeks proved that Wheaton Fire Station will do very well. With the way they handled this tornado and handled the emergency part of it, and it was all the officers from our station that took control and did it. And my hat's off to them. They did an outstanding job. Thank you, guys.
Planning Commission report. The Wheaton Planning Commission met on October 1st, 2019. All of the members were present. Dean Gullickson was there. He's a Chippewa County Board member. He updated us on what was happening at the county board level. They're working on the Chippewa County budget. He told us that the opioid crisis is worse than it was last year, and there are more children in foster care, and that's where the majority of their budget is going. He told us that, Chippewa was helping with the tornado crisis out here in the town of Wheaton. Kim Haas had a concept 5-lot plot of larger lots, approximately 13 acres on 30th Street, Elk Ridge South plot. And she advised me that afternoon that she canceled her request to be on that evening's agenda. We started to look at the ordinances, the draft 6 ordinances. They're all finished. We'll finish them up at the November 2019 meeting. And then we will give attention to renumbering them and indexing the ordinances to be placed on the website. We're going to create a form for attendees who come before the Wheaton Planning Commission, and Mr. Scott Morris is working on that form. Then in old business, we had Patrick Belfast there from Cedar Corp, and he advised us that the public survey would be going out as scheduled. And I received mine, so I'm assuming that all the town residents did. And I hope that everyone fills it out. It took me about 10 minutes, and I've already returned it. We're also going to be reviewing the comprehensive plan in Chapter 1, and we're all supposed to look at that, review it, and then we'll be looking at the next meeting, and then we'll post that on our town's website so that the public can make comments. So for our next agenda, we'll be reviewing draft Chapter 1 of the comp plan, and I brought forth 2 issues just for us to discuss as a planning commission. One was that subdivision should really have 2 means of entry and exit for that particular subdivision. During the recent tornado, residents on 26th Street only had 1 way to get in and out of the subdivision and were unable to do so with all the fallen trees blocked the way out and emergency vehicle attempts to get in. And also we want to talk about what should be done regarding residents who choose to keep their driveways scenic and beautiful, allowing tree canopies to become overgrown to such an extent that it makes it difficult for fire trucks and emergency vehicles to enter their private driveway. And then motion was adjourned at 8:35 p.m. Any questions? Okay, Town Parks Commission report.
All right, so our meeting was Tuesday, September 17th at 7, and we've got a couple items that are further down on our agenda, so I'll skip over them just to save on some time. Park winterizing will be happening this week. They should be blowing out the irrigation and pulling the septic pump and draining all the water out of the concession building. Park rental summary for 2019. So just to kind of put things in perspective, the upper pavilion, we had a total of 15 rentals up there. That's up 3 rentals from last year. The lower pavilion, we had 11. That was down 1 from last year. We had 5 ball field rentals. That's up from 0 last year. 1 tournament, which was the same. So overall, in 2018, we had a total of 26 rental events. This year we had 32. So things are continuing to get used down there. So that's the rental summary. And then we reviewed our parks budget for 2020, came up with our numbers for our budget meeting coming up. And then the other item we'll begin starting to work on the DNR recreational boating facilities grant application for phase 2 of the boat landing. So we're just waiting for them to release that application for next year, and then we'll start to fill that in. So we were adjourned at 9 p.m.
Any questions? Okay, website updates, changes and additions the board would like to have. Ken, you've done a fabulous job updating on the tornado, all the projects, all the recoveries.
So I'll just kind of highlight some of the updates that have went out. For any of the public hearing types of events, so you'll find those agendas underneath the annual town meeting of electors, and then as well as that video for that meeting. We're posting that, and you can see in the notes. So example here, last night we had the Town of Wheaton Storm Recovery Informational Meeting at the fire station, and there's a little note that gives you a little bit more detail about what specifically that meeting was about. The other things with the tornado, we created a tornado cleanup page. We use this to provide a lot of updates as we over the last 2 weeks as things were happening. Try to make it a little bit more efficient. Put in a nice little table of contents. You can click on it; it goes right to that part on the page, depending on what the person is looking for information on. And there's everything from donations to the personal items recovered, storm recovery resources. We got links in there that we were given from the DNR, and then the meetings that happened subsequently after, as well as some contacts. So this obviously helped with getting some information out there. We've also added a new groundwater information page that has some resources as well. So again, if you are looking to have your groundwater tested, there is information. You can click on the link and it tells you where you can have that done. Again, if you are looking to do that on an annual basis or whatnot. We are also provided a new Town of Wheaton nitrate map based off of some of the readings that were done. And this is updated as of September 26th of 2019. So this contains a lot of the results from the very water tests that were done here back in July. So.
Yes.
And then again, there's some resource links, everything from Chippewa County to UW Stevens Point, Department of Natural Resources is on there. And then we also did put some pictures out there of the new. So there's a nice little trail map for the park that just kind of shows the different walking trails that exist out there. Right now, we've been working on putting the wood chips down. We're pretty much done with this half of the yellow, about half of the red trail, all of the blue, the orange is all done, the green is all done, and we're starting, we're up to about here on the purple. So we still have all the gray, about 3/4 of the purple trail, about half of the red, so there's still quite a bit of.
Can you show everyone where you got the tractor stuff?
No. Only I know that, as well as Matt and Lenny.
Well, now we're curious.
All right.
Lenny and Matt said it took them an hour to find it.
Exactly. I like to leave Easter eggs.
Apparently so.
So, and then we put some pictures out there as well, just to kind of show the new trails with the wood chips on there. So, certainly very very nice additions. So, and big thanks to several people that have helped with the wood chip effort. So Wayne, Adam, Brian Garrett,
Mark
Blaskowski, Dan Hay, Tim Hay, Kevin, and now I can't remember his last name. My wife, Kelly. Our 3 kids were out there. Ian Garrett's was out there. and the Elk Mound, school district, that was out there yesterday and literally destroyed the piles that we had and finished out quite a few of the trails, so, so it was just huge from a community involvement and getting that done. We still, I figure right now we have about a third of the way to go. So we're about 2/3 done.
Did they got that all spread out along, on 40th on the parking lot too, didn't they, yesterday?
There's just a little bit of finish work in two of the sections, so.
So those
but-
kids really went to work yesterday and did a good job.
Yeah, no, it was huge. It was, what a great way for them to get to experience, the park, so.
Yep.
So there's that, and then, again, we do several, updates as well under the news and notices, so anytime there's, any type of updates, so we did a lot of the tornado cleanup updates there. You know, we put a notice out about, hey, comprehensive planning public opinion surveys were mailed out to the residents. So there's several pieces that we've been updating there. And then the last piece I would offer up, we do have this subscribe feature that's on the website, so you can put in your information, your cell phone number, and then you can check, you know, which items you want to receive updates on. And you can receive them via text message or via email. And so it's just another way if there are certain things that you're interested in knowing about, and being able to get those updates real time. So.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Old business, review, discuss any updates on the protection of groundwater issue in Wheaton. I think Ken just covered that. We have the nitrate MATIF on there now, and it's under government and it's groundwater information. That'll link anybody to any of the sites that have to do with our groundwater. Next is review, discuss, act on the security camera update for the town hall.
Okay, so I got this one off of our last meeting. Okay, so I did have Krista Computers give us a quote on this. So this would be for a recorder as well as 4 cameras that would basically watch the doors. I did have them give kind of a, if we decided we wanted additional cameras, what that cost was for the camera and the labor to do that. So, grand total was $6,005.02.
That was for 4 cameras and 1 recorder?
Yes.
Well, what do you think, town board?
Is this something, Mark, is this something we should maybe hold off on until we see how we come out on the storm?
Maybe till we go through the budget meeting next week, budget planning we can discuss, because we'll be discussing what budget we've got right now, and then we'll have a better handle on it, but, you know, I think that if we'll need to spend that money. I think that it's a good idea. It's just going to be making sure we have the money in hand. So I'll get with Scott this weekend and we'll try to get all of that stuff so we can have that for next week.
Okay.
Or, yeah, next week, right? Yeah, the meeting will be next week.
All right, so we'll just
Postpone
put that on, we'll postpone it then till we see the budget meeting, correct?
But let's add it to the meeting,
Budget meeting?
to the meeting
Or-
agenda for that date,
All right,
and then get it taken care of.
review, discuss, act on the installation of additional 45 mile per hour signs on 20th Street.
I think there should be at least a couple more up there. Something needs to be done. It's like a racetrack over there.
We had talked about adding 2 more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a real good idea. I'll make a motion that we do that.
Okay, motion has been made to install 2 additional 45 mile per hour signs on 20th Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, review, discuss, act on the declaration of emergency signed by Chair Blaskowski on 9/25/2019 and decide whether the declaration should be extended for up to 30 days. Motion is in order. Can you bring that motion up or not?
I do not.
Otherwise, I have it here, I can read it.
Go ahead.
All right. Review, discuss, act on action to approve the emergency declaration signed by the town chair on 9/25/2019 and remain in effect for 30 days for recovery from the tornado damage the evening of 9/24/2019.
Yeah, we should probably extend that. Just make sure we get it cleaned up because right now the farmers are getting crops off their fields.
Yeah.
And they pulled some of this off to the side so they could get in their fields. The Oak Mountain school kids went through the fields again, and it's amazing how much they picked out of the fields. But I think it should be extended for 30 days. Because once they get the crops off, then they can go around and pick that stuff up.
Okay, may I have a motion then?
I'll make the motion to extend it for 30 days.
Second, please.
Second it.
All right, motion is made and seconded to continue the emergency signed by Chair Blaskowski for 30 days. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review, discuss, act on any further actions related to the emergency cleanup from the tornado. This will include additional gravel to repair the gravel parking lot in the park, repair of any park asphalt damage due to the wood hauling project, road right-of-way issues, if any, disposition of the shredded wood pile now in the park, sell it, bid it, give it away, and any other options and other items directly related to this event.
Well, I think we definitely got it. Those roads took a heck of a beating, so we need to really look at them. And as far as the shavings, we're gonna need some more, but we aren't gonna need it all.
Right.
And I guess I don't have a problem if there's some town people that want some shavings for their yard or something, a trailer load, but, you know, they need to load them and stuff.
I've already had an inquiry.
Right, we've had several people ask.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they should come in there with dump trucks and fill up dump trucks, but I think, you know, if they want a trailer load or two. A trailer load or two ain't gonna put a dent in that pile.
And they'll be responsible for loading it themselves.
Right. Ken?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. We're not gonna,
How much more do we need on the trails, Ken?
Well, for what we've used thus far, we've done about 2/3 of the trail, we got 1/3 to go, so.
We're looking at another 100, 300 yards, 20 dump truck loads, or 20 to 30 dump truck loads.
Say 40 to be safe.
Yeah.
You mean the smaller dump trucks, right, Mark?
I mean, I don't care if we're gonna just let people get them, then why, just let them get as much as they want. I mean, there's a lot there. The only thing would be, and controlling how they're loading them, so that it's not like just damaging more stuff out there than what's already gotten damaged from the rushing operation. So that would be the only thing, you know, that somebody didn't get into trouble and go flip a piece of equipment or something. So we would still have to watch that somehow. So that would have to be under a controlled circumstance. In other words, somebody from the town would need to be there watching.
Maybe have
If
it,
we're letting them, you know, somebody do that.
have a certain day,
Residents. I don't mind them doing it.
Ma-
They can have it, but.
I agree. Maybe just have it like on a certain day, have it on a Saturday and Sunday or something, or a Friday and Saturday?
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's what we would need to figure. I think that's, and if they want the stuff, I guess I don't have a problem letting them have it at all.
right? And then if there's any left, take out enough for the trails. There's any left, sell it. Because there's been several people that's asked about buying it too, companies.
Okay, well, does someone want to make a motion then to take these further actions related to the emergency cleanup?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, see what we need to do. We definitely gotta get gravel back on that parking lot and,
Repair the asphalt.
repair the asphalt
Right.
and take and, also let the people come in. We'll set up 2 dates or a day where they can come in, then we could have a bobcat there to load, to actually load them quick, get them out of there in case they get lined up.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
When will we be setting those dates?
One other thing, Alice.
Yes?
Probably budget meeting, but.
There's a lot of trash, garbage, or debris, not garbage so much, debris, around the, area yet in piles, and I'm not sure how far Lenny got, if he was able to get speed there today or what, but, we will need, you know, it's gonna take, it might take a couple more weeks, and speed trucking might be able to come out there and bring their clam and stuff and pick all that stuff up. That way we won't be taking the chance of hurting somebody getting cut up. It's so hard to throw that tin and some of them boards and stuff. It's just so hard to throw that into dumpsters by hand that it's well worth. I think that it's well worth it. It's with him and a truck and a skid steer. He's at somewhere about $1,000 a day.
So we need to talk to that Steve
Make
Trucking?
sure we're getting that finished up.
Okay. I saw Lenny today, he did have a big load on that red truck of metal.
Did or did not?
He did.
I did, talk to him too, and he said fees was supposed to come tomorrow. And, he said that, you guys had spoke or yesterday morning or this morning, and, to fill up those 2, dumpsters out in that field, and then have Sveves haul the rest of it over the recycling and separate it there.
Yeah, I wanna make sure everybody knows that we, you know, that's part of the emergency declaration, and so we can apply for emergency funds for that. But that's what, I wanna try to get that done here in the next couple of weeks, and for sure, but that would be money that we can apply, to the emergency, people for Wisconsin Emergency Management for reimbursement of 70% of it. So, I think that, you know, we need to keep moving along there just so that gets finished up right now, or we're gonna be, in the long run, it's way cheaper to do it. Barron tried it another way and they weren't very successful. Seems to be the way to do it.
They're still cleaning up.
Yep. Okay, Mark.
All right?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Review, discuss, act.
But let me go one further here, as long as we're talking about this storm damage. For the people that don't know about it, we don't have the command center anymore. As of today, that was kind of discontinued because everybody else has got things to do. And what they're doing, if you need any help with cleanup or whatever, down at the fire station on the service door going in the front, there's a glass case to the left. And there's cards in there, and you take a card out and you write your name on there, your address on there, what type of help you need. Pile and brush, couple guys with chainsaws to cut tops off and pile brush, and then post it in there. Then when volunteers come down, they'll see it, and then they'll come that way. Mark, one other thing, did Rich Rude get taken care of?
Yes. He said last night he was real happy with everything.
Okay, because I had an email to that effect, and I didn't know, I know you said we had to get over there, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think he got everything he needed. I told him yet last night that if he had additional stuff, come up here in another week, and all of a sudden he's got something else to let us know, and we'll see what we can do about it. That's
All right.
one of the reasons to extend this emergency thing, so that, because there's going to be a couple. I know there will be a couple of things that come up, so.
Yep. Okay.
Review, discuss, act roadwork that should be done next year or the year after for which we can apply the LRIP funding. Wheaton will be receiving a matching grant in an amount up to $26,432 for a single contractor road project. Mark, that 10th Street, Wayne and I went over, looks terrible. We gave it a 1 and a 2.
Well, we're gonna give it a 0.
You know that Swamp Road?
Oh, Swamp Road, yeah. Yeah, see, the only thing with that is it might be $50,000. It's only 660 feet,
Yes.
so, it might not be $50,864, which is how much this would be.
Right.
But we gotta tear it out and redo it. I mean, grind it and pulverize and put gravel on, and it's 600 feet. So that sounds like that's a lot. 50-some thousand is a lot for that, but which means we wouldn't want to really put it on that road. We'd be better off doing that ourselves and putting that on another road that.
Okay.
So what I'm kind of looking at is, what do we have? What road do we have? So it's about a half a mile, or just under right at a half a mile of road is what it would be, enough to cover. Just a bit under a half a mile, like a third of a mile of road to tear out and redo. Or first we can do an overlay on a road that would maybe a mile. I mean, that's something that we need. I just want to get everybody looking at that real here, because we should bring that up at this next meeting also. This next meeting is going to take as many things as this one, but we need to look at that because that's got to be filed to the county by November 1st. So we need to have a road that is on, the Swamp Road is on our radar, so that's a good one. Otherwise, we're going to have to move our radar around a little bit. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has anything that is kind of a pressing
What else
section
looked
of
bad,
road that
Wayne?
we
Can you
really
remember?
need to probably get to. An overlay of to a mile, or a mile of overlay, or if we grinding and paving, that would be somewhere around a third of a mile is about what that would do.
Alice and I are gonna go out raiding roads tomorrow, so we'll keep our eye open. How about that one road up by, and one road that might be a possibility is up there just above Big Elk Creek Church. It goes to the right. And when you go down the road, then all of a sudden the road gets really nice and you're in Colfax territory. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's off, M.
Well, it's M though.
No,
Going
it's,
past the church?
you go past the church and then the first road to the right. The first half mile or so is our road. And that one's pretty tough. Wasn't that the one that was real bad? And then it got really nice and it was actually Colfax addresses. That might be a possibility there.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Let's take a look at what them, I wanted this more to, and if somebody has it for sure, you know, we need to look at it and just get this straightened out so that I can file these papers by November 1st is the biggest thing, so. We'll just have to take a look around which roads we wanna do and get our most bang for the buck. I mean, we can use this on any project.
Okay,
The disadvantage to using this money is that you have to, have it engineered and you have to meet all of the state specifications, which town roads don't really have to do that unless this funding is involved. And, our roads are fairly decent without having to spend that additional money, so that's why it's good to get a project that's close to what this size of grant really is, so that we don't, because on a bigger project, it would just add more cost to the project.
okay.
Getting all the shoulders and everything as wide as they want. And our roads aren't normally like that, so.
Well, Wayne and I are going tomorrow, so we'll take a look.
Okay, let's put that on that next
I'm-
meeting too.
I make a motion, we postpone it until the next meeting.
Are you putting these on the budget meeting agenda?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we need to get these done, and we'll have to go through that budget, but we need to get these done too.
okay, I'm making a list then too of that, okay, what's gonna go on our budget.
Yep.
Okay, next is review, discuss, act firewood policy for the township property.
We
Can you-
got a motion there, Alice, we had a motion. Wayne made a motion to postpone it to the budget planning meeting.
Oh,
We need to look for a second.
oh,
I'll
do I have a
second
second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, review, discuss, act the firewood policy for the township property.
Yeah, so this one was, well, in light of the tornado. One of the things that the Parks Commission has been looking at is how to handle, down trees that come down, you know, in the town right of ways, in the park there. What do we do with the stuff? Who, you know, who should be allowed to, you know, cut that stuff up, and so we basically put together, policy that just kind of laid out how what we would recommend. So all down dead trees, you know, on the town of Wheaton property and road right-of-ways would be marked before removal, just to ensure that you know, the right trees were coming out that were supposed to. We felt that it should be, you know, taken care of by the town of Wheaton employees or licensed and insured tree professionals. So, in discussions with rural insurance, that was their suggestion, is you know, from a liability side of things to in order to protect the township. That was their recommendation. You know, we had brought up, you know, any of the wood that was cut up could go over to the recycle center and be piled for sale. And then from there, you know, we could put them out for like a bid in the fall of the year. And, you know, at that point, people can submit their bids by a certain date, and obviously the winning bid, you know, get the pile of wood. So that's kind of the gist of what we put together. You know, we've had some discussions, you know, once once the Wheaton Fire District is formed and stuff. And so we felt that, you know, we should review this next September, as we're further along with the fire district, but this was our recommendation at this point. I think the bigger piece is, you know, as these trees come down, what happens with them. We do have some dead trees up in the park. Right now, they basically just get laid down alongside the trails, or they're you know, they're left hanging in whatever condition that they are. And so, you know, in order for us to kind of keep our investment in that 40-acre parcel going the right direction, we should have something that's addressing this. So, open for discussion.
It looks good, I read it.
Is most of those trees dead, or are they? Go, Mark.
One of the things is that, this all works. I think this is a good way to do this for the town park and the trees that are on town property. Trees that fall onto the town right with off of somebody's property, that would, it's theirs unless we cut it. The town of Wheaton needs to be the one removing that in the right of way, not the homeowners, but we should remove the tree, but we'll put it on their property, or if they don't want it, then we can do what you're saying here. We have to ask them. I think we need to, by law, I think we have to do that.
Okay, that's fair. We can make that adjustment.
It's left over, take it to the recycling center, pile it up.
Yeah, or if the
That's
person,
what we do
just
right now with all the.
Somebody might want firewood.
yeah, for the stuff in the road right of ways,
Or
and
if they want the wood. If they don't, then he takes, it's removed. If you want the people working in the ditches right away, to say, we've been working on we're really responsible for doing that. So, and that's a good way to do it.
okay.
Is just let the town, if the homeowner don't want it, let the town guys take it? They've been taking it for themselves, or no? Mark? Mark? Did we lose him?
I can hear him. Yeah.
And here you are.
You can't
What-
hear you talk up louder.
What's been the policy in the past, putting it in the homeowner's yard? If they don't want it, have the town guys been taking it and just, if
Well,
they,
yeah, we put it in the homeowner's yard. Right, they take it and they've been, it depends on who happens to be close by there. If somebody's burning wood there, they would usually give it to them. But
Okay.
what we should be doing is just asking them, and then if we're cleaning it up, we can take it to the recycling plant and let it, and sell it from there. That's fine.
okay.
So how about this, Mark? I'll make those changes for our next meeting. Does that sound good? Just to make sure we got it the way everybody wants
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
So we'll just hold off on that, correct?
Yep.
Okay, for the next, for our November agenda, all right.
You need that in a motion, or just
Okay,
postpone it?
that'll be November.
Right. I don't think I do. No. We don't need to. I don't need to do that. Okay,
Okay.
next. Review, discuss, act on the irrigation for the town park.
What you got going there, Ken?
This one, just a update on it, that new zone did get installed, in between the two fields, so, that's about all I got, unless, somebody's heard something else.
Did the that new zone, that isn't the one that was leaking before, is it?
Correct, that is not the one.
Is that leaking, line
Yes.
been fixed?
Yes, it has.
Okay, and it's real good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have to act on that, Ken?
I don't think so.
Okay. Review, discuss, act on the trail names at the park?
So this one's on there just, if any board members have some input on what they would like to see for some trail names. We have about 8 trails up there in the woods. We're gonna try to come up with 10. That way, if we add other ones in the future, we've got a couple placeholders. If there's, something that, the board members, have some ideas, we're certainly open to that. Give you kind of a little idea, the 3 ball fields that are down there, Longview, Prairie View, and Oak Knoll, are all named after schools that once existed in Wheaton, so we tried to tie some Wheaton history to the park. And so, certainly if there's, something, in the Wheaton history that would be useful, we're certainly open to that, so.
Okay.
So we don't have names finalized yet, but we're looking for input.
Okay. All right, next is to review, discuss, and act on the bidding documents for the landscape maintenance for the township property.
Okay, so for this one. All right, so a couple pieces. One, we had decided that we would split out the landscape maintenance from the irrigation. And as part of that, we basically put together what we'll call a bid packet. So if there are parties that are interested in bidding, they'll get this bid packet. It's, the service is gonna be as needed, and it will be a price per service for each location. So if you see in the document, the areas that are blacked out, we don't use those services at those locations, that's why they're blacked out. So basically, we would be looking for the bidders to basically fill in the boxes in that table as part of submitting their bid. As part of that, we've got the different locations with the addresses. We expanded upon some of the requirements just to clarify some things in there. The other piece that we have in there is all invoices for services provided must be submitted within 30 days of the work being completed. So that's a big requirement of getting those invoices in. And then we also, as the work is being completed, would expect that they're sending a weekly report to the town clerk. So we have some checks and balances on exactly, where mowing is being done and when it's being done. So. We also provided some additional exhibits so that things were clearly spelled out where we would expect chemical trimming, which is the pink areas, and where we expect mechanical trimming to occur. This is to avoid issues in the past where chemical trimming has been used around every little piece as a way of handling it, and then things look really bad when all of a sudden you got, a foot swath around a post. We've got a exhibit that shows where we expect the fertilizer to be applied and where we expect the herbicide control to be applied as well. So again, spelling things out so that everybody understands what they're bidding, what their expectations are, the work that they would need to complete. as part of this. So that's the landscaping, maintenance, bid packet, that we put together. What we would like to do is, the bid packet would go out, it'd be for 2020 and 2021. We would like to get it out there and request that all bids be back, in time for the November, town board meeting.
So you're putting a 2-year contract on this, Ken?
2 year.
Okay.
I should highlight too, we did, where do we say, mowing? What we did as well in there is we put a, not to exceed, and we base that off of our mowings that have occurred over the last couple years. So example would be, majority of the properties would just need to be mowed once a week, and they'll be just fine, even with rainfall. The fields in the park, during baseball, we do them twice a week, just due to the irrigation that's also running. So to kind of put things in perspective, we've used some of that data over the last couple of years to know what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, without getting into a situation we just said, it's not gonna be any more than this. We're not gonna put in we expect you to mow this many times. So you have to come up with a price per mowing, and we'll give you that. And then from there, we'll get the bids in, and we've got a spreadsheet that'll tally it up based on how many mowings we did over the last year to kind of give us a ballpark of what we would be looking at for total expenses.
Now, the mowing's all done for this year, correct? I know they mowed it a week ago, right, as it was raining.
Yeah, last week, I think it was, yeah.
Because they pushed more grass flat than they did mow. They did. Looked terrible.
Not a fan of mowing when it's raining. I like it when it's dry. Yeah, so that's basically what we put together.
Well, the bidding documents, any questions for Ken on that? If not, we could have a motion made to accept these bidding documents for the landscape maintenance for the township property.
I make a motion, we go with these, the way Ken's got them set up.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to accept the bidding documents for the landscape maintenance for the township property. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to review, discuss, act on the bidding documents for the irrigation maintenance at the park.
Okay, so this one, again, we use the same, as needed price per service. We basically do a startup, and then we do a system shutdown, and then we want them to submit what their labor rate would be for irrigation repairs. We're not putting parts in there because parts could be, could be any number of things when we have issues. I mean, we've had heads that have went out. We've had, where the head just has to be taken off and it has to be cleaned out because rust got into it. We've had where, we've had a leak. So we figured the easiest apples to apples is tell us how much are you going to charge us to start up the system, how much are you going to charge us to shut it down and blow all the lines out, and what's your labor rate for repairs.
When I was still in the business doing this, we, like we do the falls and snow and stuff like that, we had a deal where we go in there like once a month or bi-weekly and then run through the system to see if there was anything wrong and then fix it then. So I don't know if that'd be something you'd want to add into that or if you guys do that yourself.
Yeah, we've been doing it ourselves. Generally, when something happens, it's usually me down there. when that happens, but the system actually has a way where we can actually go down, and we can run all the zones at once, and we can see that, in fact, the heads are turning, or if they're not. I mean, this year we had, I wanna say it was about three issues, you know, where, you know, either a head didn't turn off. We ended up with, you know, one portion of the field that got pretty wet. We had a couple issues with the sign irrigation that was up there. And then we had a couple sprinkler heads that just stopped turning. And so that's kind of how we tried it, you know, this year. Majority of the time it was us telling them that, hey, we got an issue. No, it's good.
Oh, it's good thought.
Input. Good input. And then we just, the other piece we just showed here was, you know, which areas are irrigated so that they understand as part of this. So all the areas in pink are what is irrigated today. And then we basically just tell them, hey, we want you to do the spring startup, fall shutdown, and then as part of that startup, we want you to do the test operation and adjust anything.
Okay, are there any questions on this? Any board comments? Well, then do I have a motion to act on the bidding documents for the irrigation maintenance at the park?
Sure, I'll make a motion for the bids, the way Ken's got them written up.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made and seconded to accept the bidding documents for the irrigation maintenance at the park. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is set the date for the 2019 budget planning meeting. 10/16, 10/17, 10/23, or 10/24.
I vote for 10/24.
My birthday.
Well,
Does that mean we have to bring cake for you?
But- and mine's on the 16th. Those are two dates that are out.
Well, then you gotta do it, in the middle then, right? And then
I
we'll
don't
bring
care.
cake for both of you.
There you go.
Can you make 10/24? That's why you're
I could
voting?
do 10/24, 10/23 works too.
I can do 10/23 or 10/24.
Yeah,
For you too,
I think that'd be okay with me.
Bud?
I think I'll be gone then.
Okay.
Yeah,
When's yours?
I'm
Well, should we-
guiding, I'm guiding.
Mark,
this
anything
fall.
for you? Can you do it the
When's your-
23rd or 24th? It's a
When's your
Wednesday and a Thursday.
24th.
Right, yeah, any of them days I can do.
How about Wednesday, the 23rd?
Okay.
All right, so set the date for the budget planning meeting and it'll be 10/23. What time do we do it? 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, Mark?
I think I'd like to start that one earlier. We're gonna have a few things on there.
6 o'clock?
Sure.
Okay.
That early enough?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then at that meeting, we're gonna have that West Wisconsin Telecom gentleman there, is that correct?
Yep.
Then the road work for that LRIP and then a camera for the town hall too?
That's correct.
All right. Okay, then set the date for the 2019 budget hearing and special elector meeting to approve the levy, 11/13 or 11/14, with town board meeting to follow for the purpose of approving the budget.
Does 11/12 our town board meeting?
Oh yeah,
not work?
that's wrong on there, yeah. Should be really, we should do it on 11/12 with the town board meeting, right? I was reading what it
We
said.
can.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, we can do that. Do you have enough time, Scott, to post that meeting? That's gotta be a 3 post, doesn't it?
I'd have to look at the history, but it's just, I mean, we're out to November, so that, you think it's a class 3 notice, is that what you think, Mark?
I think that one is.
I can look back, I don't think there's a problem with the timing there. You just gotta post it publish it
Is
3
that enough
times.
time?
Yeah, 'cause last year we met, was like October 30th or something, and we still got it in.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Make it work.
So can we, this budget hearing and special elector meeting to approve the levy, can that be at 6 o'clock then on November 12th? And then we have the town board meeting following that?
Yeah, we better not do that on Tuesday night. We better leave that at 7.
Leave it at 7, do that first, then just go into the town board?
That's fine.
Right.
All right, let's do that then.
So, what are we doing?
Is that what
Yeah, I
Mark,
think last year though, we had our budget, planning on the 15th. Of course, we can advertise now for the budget hearing, we just have to make sure we do it. I guess we don't have to have the budget planning meeting done before we set the budget hearing meeting, we can set that now. So, yeah, actually, that's okay, even if you need to do it 3 times, you'll just have to, notice it, next week, Scott, if it's gotta be 3 times.
well, it could be just, like 3 days in a row, couldn't it? It doesn't have to be like once a week.
No, it's gotta be at different weeks. But you could do that, you'll have enough time to do that. That's okay.
Yeah, I can schedule that. It's not-
And then the 12th would be a good time, because then it'll be on the same regular meeting night, and anybody showing up for the meeting would be caught into this too, so, which that's where they should be. They should be coming to vote on this.
Do you do the town board meeting first and then the budget,
Nope.
or vice
No,
versa?
no, you do the budget
Right.
hearing, then you do a special elector meeting, and then you do the town board meeting that the town board would then approve the budget. If the town people approve the levy, then we go into the next town board meeting and approve the budget that we have set.
Okay,
Okay, so then that'll be on November 12th, the same night as our town board meeting at 7 o'clock.
Yep,
Okay,
okay, that's good. I like that. That's,
okay, so then it says set potential agenda items. I've been writing them down. Are you ready, Scott?
Go ahead.
We need to talk about the firewood policy revisions again. We need to discuss, I assume we'll be opening the bids for the landscape maintenance. Be opening the bids for the irrigation maintenance. Matt Solberg has been hired for a little over 6 months now. Do we want to do his review?
yeah, we probably should. Yeah, that's good, because then we should have them up here at the beginning of January or whatever for any raises.
Because Matt Solberg was here 6 months in September, so we're a little bit over on that. Then,
Yeah, let's do that.
okay, and then in November, it's time to start discussing the Wheaton Fire Commission. And then who we were going to appoint, we should start discussing the Wheaton Fire Chief position.
Well, yeah, what we need to do is set up a committee to actually set up the fire department. That there's gonna take a bit of paperwork and stuff like that, so we're gonna have to get that together. I think we're gonna need to talk to Elk Mound a little bit about that, what all they went through. So we're gonna need a little bit of help on that. I think that's gonna take a little bit of a committee. The guys who were on the fire, that were on that committee before, if they wanted to do it, to help out with that, that would be awesome. I mean, I think that would be really good. But just on how they want, what they would recommend for setting that up, and how many members and of the board and or whatever, however they want it controlled. I don't know for sure what that is. I don't know. I just, but I'm sure Elk Mound, the chief in Elk Mound knows what he got into. He said he remembers what all it took, so we'll need to talk to him.
All right,
That might be a little premature for us to set anything up and try to get that resolved this quick. I think if we have that by May or June, we'll be okay.
so that's something that we want Wayne to do again with his committee?
Boy, you're free with the volunteering here.
So.
Well,
the
sure, why not?
The agenda item is create Wheaton Fire Committee. Correct?
Well, don't they already, we already have a fire committee.
Well,
So it doesn't need to be an agenda item.
You don't wanna call your same guys again and,
no, I mean, I'm willing, I think there's, Dale's on the fire commission right now, and that committee, and I'd like to see him on there. I have a couple ideas, and I'd like to see Scott Morris on there, and I'd like to see Eugene Gutch on there. I think all three of them would do an outstanding job if they're willing to do it.
so you wanna discuss that committee next month, Mark, or what?
Yeah, we should have maybe put down for an agenda item to discuss what our plan is for going forward. That'll be after we meet, if we can meet with the Chippewa Fire District Fire Board on the 6th, at least we'll know what they're thinking and we can start setting our stuff up then. That might be a good, just to get a game plan and get some definitive dates. We have to have this done by April, this done by May, whatever. So to just get the steps down so that we know what our target dates are.
All right, that sounds good. And then also in November, of course, will be the budget hearing, the special electors meeting, and then our regular town board meeting.
Yep.
Anything else on the agenda then, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
we better start thinking about getting that metal out of there before snow flies. That big pile of metal we get down there now, because that's where we push a lot of snow.
Can you hear that, Mark?
No.
How to get that metal out of the recycling center before it snows? How we're gonna get rid of all that big pile of metal that's at the recycling center?
Don't know right now. I mean, we can get dumpsters in there and put it in there and have it packed in there, and we can make it'll be a little bit of money, but I don't know that that's really economical.
Wouldn't we be?
Who's asking? Is Roger there? Or?
Yeah, Roger's talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, and Raj, I'd like to talk to you about that. How long it's going to take to move that stuff, things like that.
Can you hear him?
I mean, that's something we need to try and get a handle on here pretty quick. So I'll get with you and we'll figure out a way that it's not costing us money anyway to get it out of there before it snows, unless of course it snows this weekend, and it's probably not going to be out of there. But as long as it doesn't snow till November, we'll be good.
Wouldn't we be better off taking and maybe just having them come in and bid it and bringing in a magnet and magnetizing all that out of there? Be a lot quicker than they'd have the, of course, we get a little bit for the metal, but I think we'd still get a little bit, probably the same if they got a big pile of her like that.
At $40 a ton.
They
Wayne,
probably bring
nobody's
that kind of
gonna touch it.
equipment in there, it's gonna cost, they won't do it. It's
Oh.
gonna cost them more than what it's worth.
Yeah, it's not worth much money, that's the problem.
Is that all it's worth,
Yeah,
$40 a
more
ton?
than it's-
Yep.
I don't know if we could bid it and see if any of the scrappers were willing to pay us. I mean, we could do that real quick.
All right, you're gonna talk to Roger though more?
Yep.
All right,
Yep, I'll get with Roger.
So not an agenda item?
no.
No.
So now the next meeting,
Scott,
what?
I say, talk to Roger and Scott and see what kind of money we're getting from them dumpsters, from the metal and all that kind of stuff to make some kind
Okay,
Scott just said it's $40 a ton is what metal,
It's not much.
now, because that's all scrap, shreddables.
Right.
okay, the next meeting date is just Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Did we vote on it
Vote on what?
to adjourn the meeting?
Adjourn, all in favor of?
Well,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed.
Who was it? Was that
Motion
you
carries.
for adjourn?